is going by fast and we have to catch up. Well, I am playing catch up right now. So today I'm going to talk to you about what I'm planting out for July, and it's a lot of things. It's really succession sowing so we can have that continual harvest. And one of the things that I am doing, I believe the only thing I'm doing by transplant is my Malabar spinach. And Malabar spinach, it's not a true spinach, but it's a good substitute for spinach, and it loves the heat because we know spinach does not like the heat. That is a cool weather crop. So if you, and also you can try New Zealand spinach as well. So my husband made me a bed that is, he made this bed that is 8 by 1 foot, 8 by 1, and I have it, you see, I have it going all the way down there, and it's up against this fence. And then I put together this little trellis because Malabar spinach needs that trellis. So I'm going to transplant this, and then we're going to get into our direct sowing. And you know, your girl does not like to direct sow. I am not a direct sower. So let's go. Let's get into this. You guys already know with everything I do, I put my mycorrhizin in there and some worm casting. And I actually started my own worm bin that I will show you guys in a coming video. I'm just removing all of this, and my bed has been prepped already with fertilizer. I'm going to put it a little closer. We're not going to put it a little closer so we can actually get it to be attracted to running up to this thing right here. And I'm just making it as big as this is. Let's sprinkle some of this in there. And I'm just going to drop it in there. Tuck it in like you're doing your sheets. And your flat sheets. That's what I related to. I'm doing my flat sheets. And I'm going to move and give it a little space right here. And do the same thing over here. So let me finish this, and then we'll move on to the direct sowing. So the next thing I'm going to plant for my July crop is sweet corn for a second harvest. Sweet corn, you can harvest within 60 to 90 days, and I am planting it right next to where I harvest my previous sweet corn, so I'm not too concerned about cross-pollination. It's already been harvested, and they're the same brand. And you can see I got this from Dollar Tree. So I added mulch over the bed where the corn is, and I also added insect netting over there to protect the corn seeds from the squirrels and the birds. So the next thing I am going to plant out in my July are squash. I have the yellow scallop squash. This is something new that I'm planting this season. This is a white zucchini. A zucchini long white palomino. And a zucchini. Correct me if I'm saying it wrong. So this one is a vine and squash, so I'm going to plant this someplace else that has a trellis. But this yellow squash, scallop squash, I'm going to plant it here with my cassetta squash that I'm also growing for the first time this year. In my June planting, I did my cassettas. 4 of them, 3 germinated, and none of my green scallop germinated. I planted 4 here, and none of them came out. So it may look like there's not enough space, but a good pruning. I have my pruner, I have my clips, and I have my disinfectant. So that's done, and now you can see the fruits, and you can see what you can. So much easier to harvest, and so much easier for the bees to get in there and pollinate our produce. And I'm just going to move this away. Look at that nice wet soil because we mulched. And don't worry about it because the seed will pop through this. I'm just waking it up. Waking it up, waking it up a little bit. Just roughing up that ground. This just looks like a regular squash seed. I am going to do 2 just to be on the safe side, and then I will thin them out. So I'm back over here with my zucchini. And this one is a 70 days to harvest, and it takes 5 to 10 days for germination. With my succession sowing, I'm adding how long it takes for the seed to germinate to the maturity date. And it makes it a lot easier for myself by writing down the maturity date on the package. But because it's hot, it's more than likely it's going to germinate a lot faster. So again, just keep your soil wet. So I'm going to take advantage of my vertical growing and plant my zucchini here. Let's see. 2 in each spot. Moving right along, we have tiger melon. This is a 90-day variety. This is a very small, this is a personal melon. And it takes 7 to 14 days to germinate. This bed has already been amended with compost, alfalfa pellets, and I'm doing 2 seeds. And now we're going to do a golden melon, golden honeymoon melon, and this again is a 90-day variety. And we're going to do the same thing. The next melon we're planting is a Kajari melon, and that's a 70-day variety. And all of these melons are small, personal size melon. They're not your watermelon. I mean, I think you still have time to plant some watermelon, like those small, like sugar babies. Something else you can plant in July for your July crops are determinate tomatoes, not indeterminate, determinate tomatoes. And I have these right here. These are the same thing, Tiny Tims. These are the volunteers, free 99. That came back up. All of these are Tiny Tims that I have in this green stock that I planted last year. So now I'm going to direct sow some more Tiny Tims. And this takes 45 to 65 days to harvest and 5 to 10 days to germinate. Here I'm also going to plant some more beans, and these are the tricolor beans. And like I said, you can do 2. You can do 3 in here, but I am going to do 2. Also in my green stock, I'm going to put the purple basil in here, and I'm just going to sprinkle this. I'm going to sprinkle some compost over it lightly and press it down. And of course, we have some flour mix I picked up from Dollar General. So I'm just going to scatter this in here. Very heavy. This is not my usual way of planting out flowers, if you've been here for a while. But this channel that I watch, the New Orleans Gardener, check out her channel. I saw her early in the season, She got a bucket and she had soil and she put a bunch of flower seeds in that bucket and mixed it all together. So this is my version of what she did. And let me tell you, her flowers are beautiful. And I really enjoy watching um, gardeners that have beautiful flowers growing in their garden. And two other people that I watch and I subscribe to is the OCD, Everyday Life of the OCDist Chick. Beautiful garden, beautiful flowers, and grow joyfully. She always opens up with showing her flowers, and it's beautiful. So check out those three channels. You will not be disappointed. They also do gardening, so you're going to learn a lot of things. Like I've told you before, um, the compost tea, I learned that from Hands in the Dirt and the New Orleans Gardener, and How to Care for My Sage Plant was from the Everyday Life of the OCD's Chick. I will link their channels. In these containers, I am going to try my hand again at ground cherries, which I really don't mind about the time that the ground cherries come up because they are perennial. And I'm dumping this whole package in there. Also, in the other four containers, I'm going smaller containers. I'm planting bushing cucumbers. And in the larger container, I'm going to plant bunching onions inside of there as well. So these were started in pea pellets. I have sugar beets here, and I have Swiss chard, and I have some red bull or red ace beets also, and I have radish, the regular radish, and I have watermelon radish started in these pea pellets. I am not a radish person. I don't eat it. I do in my salads, I do, but since I started juicing, I have been eating more radish lately. So I put them in here. I put my Swiss chard in here. Of course, you can direct sow your Swiss chard, your radish, your beets, everything. But the Swiss chard, again, I don't know where I want them to go. So so I'm just, this is a good way of you just starting your seeds and then figuring out where you want them to go. And for my beets, I tried it the last time I planted beets in the spring in the peat pellets, and this was from another YouTube gardener, Renee's Garden, and it works. So I'm going to do it again, and this time I'm trying to do my radish like that as well. And I have, the Mongolian giant sunflower. I did 5 of those. That's what's here. I think I'm going to get a humidity dome and put it over this because these peat pellets, you have to be mindful of it. They will dry out. They do dry out very quickly. And because of this heat, they're going to dry out very quickly. So I think I'm going to get a humidity dome, put it over here, and open up the vents. That's it for today on what you can plant in July. I didn't show you guys these. I did start some mountain mint, and I saw this on the New Orleans Gardener. She was planting this, and she was doing some succession sowing of this as well. Right, I think she did hers outside, and I did some celery as well. I did the pink celery, and I did the regular celery also. But I have these inside of the house and in a container in soil in the refrigerator. And the parsley as well. Oh yes, and parsley as well. I have in there the curly parsley. I didn't start it outside. So I pray this was helpful and that it encouraged someone to start growing their garden, knowing that you still have time to get this started. Go online. You can Google. It's the Old Farmer's Almanac, and you put in your zip code, and it will tell you how many days until your first frost date, and it will also tell you how many days that you have for growing to grow. And my days, I think I said it was 151, but it's actually 151 days. It's actually 121 days. I double checked. It's 121 days. And you can go on there and you can see your expected frost date. And again, look on the back of the package. Try to get those things that germinate pretty fast, and to harvest, like cucumbers, your squash, your summer squash. The winter squash, I'm not going to do it. I wouldn't say for you not to do it because I don't know what zone you're in. But once you check and you see how many days you have, you're going to check the winter squash, and you're going to count down to see if you have enough days to start winter squash. But I am not starting winter squash. I have enough winter squash already planted. So, God willing. God willing, they survive, right? God willing. Anywho, thank you so much for coming along, and I pray you have a blessed day, and I will see you again in the garden on the next video. Bye-bye.